Yeah. The grid system here, if you look carefully, from having years of performance as springboard diver, understanding in our body how the left side and the right side, as you're facing an audience, represent different zones. In our body, our left sides of our body represent the more receptive, self-nurturing, self-reflective functions. The right side of the body, the more assertive, outgoing functions. So I've constructed this grid as you face an audience as a speaker to create, for example, this timeline in the central horizontal zone. Sooner or later, we're all going to be talking about the past, the present, and the future. And if you create a consistent timeline, for example, between these zones, then when I'm sitting and talking with you, just like in the English language, when we write, we're writing from left to right. Therefore, the future is more towards the right. If I see my body as the chief instrument of communication, then as I speak to you, and I refer to the way things used to be in the field of speaking, the way that things are right now, and the way that speaking is heading towards more relationship speaking, developing rapport towards audiences instead of trying to master the material. Then whenever I move to the right, then I'm talking about the future. Before I even say a word, people seeing me move to the right would then be able to subliminally pick up more information, since I've disciplined, joyfully disciplined my body to move consistently in these zones. By practicing on this grid system here, ways for people to match and choreograph the different zones of past, present, and future. Also confiding. What happens when I say to you, the real secret to live public speaking and being effective with audiences is developing a relationship with your audience. What did I do with my voice? What did I do with my spine? When I said it, my voice, if you were listening carefully, slightly lowered and got softer, and my spine slightly bend forward. So confiding is yet another zone that we put in this grid system. This is a very scientific map of ways of moving through space in a consistent way. Many speakers who are professional speakers that I've trained who didn't master their material, didn't know where to put it, by putting it in these different zones, knew where to place their information. So they could keep coming back like a kid in a sandbox, and it was much easier to remember their material.
Maybe you can give an example of what our audience might be able to try at home to try out your system. Is there something that they would be able to do? Would you be able to give them something to try out?
Well, there's many things. Along with the different systems that I've given you, I was just giving you an example a minute ago of something called the double extreme, which is also in my workbook here on mastering authenticity and rapport. This workbook has a variety of visual aids in it that the double extreme technique, if you find yourself talking too fast in front of people you're nervous with, you might talk even faster than you've ever talked in your life up to now, and then deliberately talk slower than ever before. And then in between, the best of both, where you can speak with a feeling of bravado and also sensitivity. The best of both, that's the double extreme. This is listed in here. The speech cycle template is something else I want to show you. If we look at it more carefully, and we make a close-up on this image here, the template here is something that anyone who's watching can use at any time for any presentation. Look carefully, it's like a clock. And at the beginning of the clock, around 12 o'clock, it's the word thank. To thank the interviewer for the opportunity to do the presentation today. To thank the live audience for whatever it took for them to come to this presentation, and perhaps to acknowledge some of their success in the field, what they have contributed to the field. To let the audience know that your listening is as important and your contribution to this field as whatever I have to share with you. Then to make a commitment. My commitment to you, for example, and to the audience in this short time is to deliver a number of visual aids and tools that will transform, ideally, your entire relationship to speaking in your community, in your country, in your company, with your loved ones on every stage of your life. By making a promise, you're accountable, and again, people see you as an equal. No one likes being talked down to. This is a way of developing more rapport with audiences. That's why I call the name of this workbook Mastering Authenticity and Rapport. Finally, one thing I would ask you as an audience member to do, let's say you have a point to make. If you look at my little triangle at the bottom of this circle here, there's a little triangle. I'll do it better with my fingers. Picture the three letters P, E, A at the three different apexes of the triangle.
So the P being here.
P being at the top.
At the top. Okay.
P stands for point of view, principle, policy. E would stand for example. An example from my own experience that demonstrates well how a woman who was very afraid, very shy, broke free out of her terror of public speaking is I encouraged her to hide behind a curtain and really hide until I actually held the curtain tight. She didn't like that very much, and she broke free from this curtain, and it was all curtains for her. That means her shyness, that is. She was like a lion freed, and the little mouse was left behind because she broke free. That's an example. And then finally, the application, which is PEA, completes this P formula. Any excellent speaker, something you as an audience member can practice at home, for every point you make, give one example and one application how it might apply to the audience. So my suggestion to you, how you might apply it, is next time you do a show, if you come up with 3 key words about 3 qualities that represent your key strengths, composure, caring about people, and love of beauty, for example. I'm just making it up, but that's what I've learned from you so far. And you practice these in a way that allows you for every point to make an example and an application from that place, then you have a very empowered physical presence that everybody will love you for.
If you can provide us with your contact information.
The website would be ideal. Everything is on my website, and it also covers information about the products, the support materials, and where I'm traveling around the world. I'm traveling most of the time now, teaching and training in these various areas.
And so your website is?
www.garywohlman.com, GaryWohlman.com. You'll see graphics of the various images as well at different points during this program. You can contact me through the website. I appreciate the opportunity, Anna. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on our show. So I hope our audience is able to take away from today's discussion and be able to practice some of these techniques at home, and as well visit Dr. Wohlman's website for more information. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's edition of Asia Talk. We thank you for being here, and we'll see you again next time.